Agatha All Along is a massive hit. Just ask Disney. Don't believe your lying eyes or your fibbing ears. Like, nobody's talking about this show, even when it does come out. And just a simple glance over the data that they're touting as being, some of the best ever for a Marvel show all about a coven of lesbian witches. Where it's like, haven't we already seen this song and dance earlier this year, and didn't it also fail spectacularly? Like, why would you run this back? Like, I'm not shocked that Disney is trying to polish this turd and try to make it seem more successful than it actually is. I'll be interested to see probably what the finale ratings look like, and hell, even if they have the opportunity to report them, if there's enough numbers to bring together for them to chart. This is one of those shows that just, I don't know who this is supposed to be for. I understand who they're making it for, right? Like single 30, 40-year-old women who have nothing better to do than to just gulp down boxes of wine when they get home, realizing that they're in crippling student debt that they're never going to get out from under because the world sold them a bill of goods and they thought that feminism was going to be the way out. But in actuality, the only way out that they see is at the end of the rope. I guess that's for them, but why does that need to come via Marvel? Marvel's a male brand. Star Wars is a male brand. Disney is a female brand, and they decided to try to get into the male market, but then when they also looked at who has the most disposable income, rather disposable, because I don't think dispendable is a word. They took for granted their core audience and thought that they would just simply be along for the ride, but in reality, they shed them over that incredibly awful period of Phase 4 and Phase 5. But don't worry, guys, they're going to be turning it around any time now. Didn't you hear the next upcoming show is Ironheart, and that's going to be great. I'll be talking about that in the very near future. But as we sit right now, Agatha hits 9.3 million views in 1 week on Disney Plus. Well, let's see how they spin this before we get into the direct comparisons to realize how folly and how misleading those numbers really are. The first episode of Agatha All Along hit 9.3 million views on Disney Plus in its first 7 days of streaming. Wow, the first episode, but you released 2 on the opening day. Why would you only tout the ratings for your first episode? Oh, that's a problem. Spin-off of the 2021 Marvel Limited series WandaVision. Yep, 3 years removed from that. Series premiered on September 18th. Disney defines a view as the total amount of time watched divided by runtime. Therefore, the episode was watched by approximately 6.5 million hours. Okay, when multiplying views by runtime. I remember back in the day, you would just get the ratings, you would just get the Nielsen numbers, and it would just be how many people watched. You wouldn't have to do all of these mental gymnastics, and you wouldn't have to break out the graphing calculator into figuring out that nobody watched this crap. The opening of Agatha All Along appears to roughly be on par with Percy Jackson and the Olympians, which in December of 2023 debuted with 13.3 million views in 6 days. Oh, basically on par. Guys, basically on par. It had 4 million additional views in a shorter period of time. Basically the same, right? As well as The Acolyte in June of this year that hit 11.1 million views in 5 days. Basically the same for a series that got canceled. Fantastic. This is why nobody's talking about this show, because nobody's watching this show. Like, even the cringe, like, at least the time of recording, the most recent episode was a bunch of box wine enthusiasts drinking their poison of choice and then getting some weird CGI on their face in the form of botched plastic surgery. Who cares about that? Oh, but Dawn, it's not made for you. Like, I remember growing up, okay, like, there were some specifically targeted programs that were out there. Soap operas were for women, sports was generally for men, cartoons were more or less for kids. But the whole idea of that not being made for you has never run out until modern day, which is just a cover for companies trying to co-opt something that's popular and use it to appeal to a modern audience. Modern audience that doesn't exist. The modern audience that turns out in record low views. Modern audience that doesn't even get your show to trend on different third-party metrics. Because here you have Samba TV, right? Not owned by Disney. It's reporting that, nothing from Disney, unless you count Hulu, is on that list at all. Netflix dominating, okay. Oh, Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, which we'll be talking about very shortly as well, clocking in an 8th, $1 billion show, charting 8th, behind The Penguin, Tulsa King, and season 4 of Second Monitor Slop. Good stuff. Good stuff that you have right there. But Agatha All Along ratings crash below canceled Acolyte on Disney Plus, and the media run with misleading numbers. Because guys, that'll own the chuds. I'll just go ahead and show you that actually Agatha was a good decision, and it's a really great show actually, because 3 episodes in and nothing has really happened so far, and the main character, who is supposed to be a witch, doesn't even have her powers. Marvel is attempting to find its mojo on streaming after the wonderful win at the box office. He has Deadpool and Wolverine, which is now on its way or has already landed on streaming, meaning that during a very, very slow fall, they decided to not capitalize on their win. They're just simply gonna end their Marvel year on this crap. Okay, the film was largely crafted by outsiders. Yes, Fox's Marvel properties is not the template that Marvel has been using for the past many years. Secret Invasion, remember how that cost $212 million and introduced the singular most powerful character in Marvel canon, who just happens to be portrayed by the franchise-killing Emilia Clarke. Remember that? The Marvels, $206 million, $4 million on a $350 million budget. Fantastic. And the Eternals. Yeah, but at least that one saved lives, remember, are a better representation of what Marvel has been as of late. And though there are strong rumors that Kevin Feige is working hard to right the ship, Agatha All Along is another show that fits neatly into what Disney superheroes have been for the last couple of phases. Yes, very much so. Unfortunately for Disney and Marvel, that means the results are looking like the failures that they've been dealing with since 2020. That's not to say you would easily detect that Agatha All Along is a ratings disaster on Disney Plus. Variety compares Agatha All Along to Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Acolyte. Well, if you got to compare anything favorably to the Acolyte, or try to present it as being favorable to the Acolyte, you already know that you're fighting a losing battle, right? Because that got canceled. And to be honest, I don't know enough about Percy Jackson and the Olympians to make heads or tails of that comparison, but it's not even apples to apples, because you're dealing with nearly half again as many viewers over a shorter period of time. It's not a fair comparison. For a keen observer, it's obvious that Variety and perhaps Disney are using different measurements without clearly denoting the situation. Agatha All Along is measured over 7 days, Acolyte over 5, Percy Jackson was 6, and because Percy Jackson opened weekly and then grew its audience significantly. For neither Acolyte nor Agatha does that appear to be the case. Yeah, we don't know the follow-up numbers. They haven't been released at time of recording for Agatha, but I couldn't imagine they're good. Yeah, we divided the viewership measured by the Acolyte and the number of days which were given. We discovered that the Acolyte averaged 2.22 million views per day in the first 5. We divide the viewership of Agatha and then come to the conclusion that the series got 1.32 million views. In other words, per diem, Agatha All Along nabbed a 59.5% of the Acolyte's viewership. Oh, wow! So you got 3/5 of the viewership for a canceled show. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Frankly, that's absolutely terrible and puts it on full display why it has already been stated the show likely will not be given a second season. No, that was Catherine Hahn on the red carpet saying, no, it's not getting a second season. Because this is supposed to be the setup for a Vision show. A Vision show that's supposed to be, this is going to be true blue Marvel, guys. It's going to be like a real superhero show. I don't trust any of them. I've heard reported on a lot of these rumors where, you know what, Marvel's going to be writing the ship. They're going to go ahead. They've purged all of the woke activists that are there, and they're going to be returning back to basics. Bringing in Robert Downey Jr., bringing in the Russo brothers. This is going to be a return to form. Until you realize the last time you seen RDJ and the Russos work together, it provided you Endgame, which set up the rest of this slop and the reason that Marvel is so desperate for its pre-2019 success. It's bad right now for Agatha, okay? But this is obviously what happens when you continue to put out crap. Remember Echo came out earlier this year? Yeah, exactly. Nobody does. And what's the next TV show to come out from Marvel? It's supposed to be Ironheart. And by the time that thing comes out, it's once again going to be 3 years removed from when the character was first introduced. In what movie exactly did Ironheart come out in? Exactly. You don't remember. And also Marvel doesn't want you to remember that movie either. A trash fire that they're going to have to contradict because they didn't want to have to recast Chadwick Boseman. I'll give you a little hint on that one. But okay, cool. You can just go ahead and say, nah, that's just the streaming shows. That's just the Marvel television that is falling by the wayside. And we obviously have a success, and that's showing you that Marvel is turning it around with Deadpool and Wolverine. What's the next movie to come out? Oh, right. Captain Black Falcon America, man. Captain African America. Fantastic. A movie that has been reshot not once, not twice, but thrice, that has a budget somewhere eclipsing $400 million, that might be passable at best, but obviously somewhere in the 2 or 3 range if we're being completely honest. And then what's after that in May? Oh, right, the Thunderbolts. Did you see that trailer? What a pile of shit that thing's going to be. Oh, but don't worry, they're going to be able to turn it around with Mr. Fantastico Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards with female Silver Surfer. Oh, everything's going to be so much better after this. Marvel, bro, I don't know. Pray for Phase 7, because the short term's going to be about as bleak as the subsequent viewership numbers reported for Agatha All Along. Ugh. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.